So the play that I will be talking about is Oedipus Rex, written by Sophocles. So the summary of the play. Oedipus Rex opens with a plague that has affected the kingdom of Thebes. And in order for the plague to stop, they have to find the killer of Laius, who was the former king of Thebes. After starting an investigation, it leads to a blind prophet named Tiresias, who claims that the killer of the former king was in fact Oedipus. After hearing this, Oedipus was angered by it and claims that Tiresias was the killer and was conspiring with Creon, his brother-in-law, to try and overthrow him. After confronting his wife Jocasta about the whole situation, she tells Oedipus the truth, that he was the killer, and that he was completing some sort of prophecy, that when he comes back to Thebes, he would kill his father and marry his mother. At the end of the play, with being affected by the news, Jocasta kills herself and Oedipus places himself on exile. So some facts about the author. The play Oedipus Rex was written by Sophocles, who was born in Colonus, Athens, Greece. Born around the time of 496 BC and died in 406 BC. One of his greatest accomplishments is that he was known to be one of the three greatest Greek tragedians throughout history. His father, Sophocles, was a very wealthy man who was a member of a small community in the rural area of Deme. He lived during the highest point of Greek civilization, but because he was born in Greece, it made him difficult to live under the Persian Empire, so he started to adapt to the democracy. As an adult, Sophocles lived with Pericles and started writing dramas. Throughout his whole life, Sophocles created 123 plays, but unfortunately only 7 were able to survive to this day. The plays that survived were Oedipus the King, Ajax, Antigone, The Women in Trachis, Oedipus at Colonus, Oedipus Rex, and Philoctetes. As you can see, the three of the plays that survived were based off the character Oedipus, who completed a prophecy by killing his father and marrying his mother. As a young adult, Sophocles took part in many literature competitions, where he was in fact able to beat two of the greatest writers of Athens, Acilius and Euripides. So some significance that Oedipus Rex has. The drama actually has a historical significance because it's referring to a plague that hit during 429 BC, during the Peloponnesian War between Athens and Sparta. The outbreak lasted until 426 BC, until it died out. The plague was known to start in the East African region, particularly Ethiopia, and swept up north until it hit Greece. The drama actually has a cultural significance because since it was written during the highest points of Greek civilization, and relevance which the play has. Another relevance which the drama has is historical because, as we stated earlier, it's referring to a historical event that actually happened, and cultural relevance because it was written during the golden age of Greece. But another relevance that hasn't been discussed yet is the theme. It teaches the readers about ignorance and how it can lead to severe consequences. This actually applies in our everyday life because sometimes when we encounter the truth, it's sometimes hard for us to accept, while others find it easy to accept and later on deal with it. But in this play, Oedipus did not accept the truth, and he blamed it on everyone else, which led to bad things. So why should people see Oedipus Rex? People should see Oedipus Rex because the plot of the drama has a very fascinating twist at the end when Oedipus was the one who killed the king. The setting of the story was very delightful because it's reference to a historical event, therefore that historical connection. The characters of the play were very compelling, especially Oedipus because he didn't know he was the one who killed the king. He thought he just killed some stranger when he was going to Thebes earlier. The conflict had a very fascinating transition from an external to an internal conflict, and the theme had many lessons. Two of the lessons that I've noticed is ignorance is never good, and telling the truth is better than hiding it from someone else. So, the element of the drama that will be discussed is the conflict, because as we said earlier, the conflict had a very nice transition from an external to an internal conflict. An example of when the story was of an external conflict is in the beginning of the play when they were hunting down the killer of the former king of Thebes. This is in fact an external conflict because they're dealing with an outside force. But when Oedipus heard the truth that he was the killer, it would then transition to an internal conflict. Because the reason this was an internal conflict is because it was Oedipus trying to deal with the truth. And as we know later on in the story, it wasn't easy for him to accept the truth. This is on my website, page AM.